Dead broke. This is the bottom. Not just having no money, but owing more than you have. Negative net worth. The people here are not simply poor, they are in a hole. And every day the hole gets slightly deeper through interest, late fees, and the compounding cost of not having a financial cushion. A broken car means a missed shift. A missed shift means a late bill. A late bill means a fee that eats into next week's groceries. Poverty is expensive in ways that are invisible until you are inside it. Studies consistently show that the mental load of managing extreme scarcity consumes cognitive resources in the same way a significant drop in IQ would. Being broke is not just a financial condition, it is a full-time job. Living paycheck to paycheck. Most people in developed countries live here, and many of them do not realize it. The bills get paid. There is food in the fridge. Life looks functional from the outside, but there is no buffer. One unexpected expense, a medical bill, a car repair, a broken appliance, is enough to derail everything. According to surveys in the United States, over 60% of adults report living paycheck to paycheck at some point, including people earning six-figure salaries. Income alone does not determine which level you occupy. Spending, debt, and habits matter just as much. Someone earning $200,000 a year with no savings and maximum credit card balances is functionally living at this level. The $1,000 emergency fund. This sounds modest, and it is, but crossing this threshold changes everything psychologically. Having even a small financial cushion means that a flat tire or an urgent prescription does not automatically become a crisis. Financial researchers have found that this single milestone, $1,000 set aside and untouched, is one of the strongest predictors of long-term financial stability. It is not about the amount, it is about the habit and the mindset shift that comes with it. People who reach this level for the first time often describe it as the first moment money stopped feeling like a constant emergency. Working class stability. At this level, the basics are covered and there's a little left over. Rent is paid, the car runs, the kids are fed, and there might be a modest vacation once a year. Life is not comfortable exactly, but it is manageable. The defining feature of this level is that stability exists, but fragility is still close. A job loss, a serious illness, or a divorce can push someone from here back down to paycheck within months. Savings exist but are not deep enough to survive a prolonged crisis. Most people at this level are one or two bad events away from serious financial stress, even if day-to-day life feels relatively normal. The middle class. The middle class is one of the most discussed and least precisely defined concepts in personal finance. In broad terms, it means earning enough to own a home, support a family, save for retirement, and afford occasional luxuries, without significant financial anxiety. In practice, the middle class has been shrinking for decades in most Western countries as housing costs, education costs, and healthcare costs have risen faster than wages. Someone who would have been solidly middle class in 1985 on a teacher's salary might struggle to reach the same standard of living today. The level exists, but the floor keeps moving. Upper middle class. This is where financial stress largely disappears for the first time. Household income typically sits between $150,000 and $400,000 depending on the city. The mortgage is manageable, retirement accounts are funded, the kids can go to college without catastrophic debt, and there is real discretionary income left over each month. People at this level often feel wealthy compared to where they came from, but rarely feel wealthy in absolute terms, partly because their peer group looks similar, and partly because lifestyle inflation tends to expand spending in proportion to income. The number goes up, but so does everything else. High-earning professional. Doctors, lawyers, senior executives, successful business owners. Income at this level can reach several $100,000 to over $1 million per year. The defining characteristic is that money is no longer a day-to-day concern. But wealth in the lasting sense is not guaranteed. High earners who spend in proportion to their income, carry significant debt, or make poor investment decisions can find themselves in their 50s with impressive salaries and surprisingly little to show for it. Earning a lot and building wealth are two very different things. And this level is where that distinction becomes starkly visible. The millionaire. A net worth of $1 million sounds transformative, but in 2024 it is more common than most people think. There are roughly 22 million millionaires in the United States alone. At this level, financial security is real. But the million is almost never sitting in cash. It is spread across retirement accounts, home equity, and investments. A true millionaire at this level is not living lavishly. They are comfortable, insulated from most financial emergencies, and on track for a secure retirement. The Hollywood image of millionaire life, the yacht, the penthouse, the staff, belongs to a much higher level, the multi-millionaire. Between $5 and $30 million in net worth, life changes in tangible ways. This is where genuine optionality begins. You can stop working if you want to. You can fund your children's education without thinking twice. You can buy a second home, travel freely, and absorb financial setbacks that would devastate someone at a lower level. At this tier, the primary financial concern shifts from accumulation to preservation. How do you protect what you have built, minimize taxes, and ensure it lasts? Wealth managers, tax attorneys, and estate planners become standard parts of life at this level. Descent to millionaire, $100 million and above. There are roughly 25,000 people in the world at this level. Day-to-day spending becomes essentially irrelevant. No purchase in normal life registers as meaningful against a balance sheet this size. The challenges shift entirely. Managing a portfolio of this scale requires institutional infrastructure. Philanthropic decisions become consequential. Family dynamics around money become complicated. Privacy becomes something that has to be actively constructed and protected. People at this level do not think about money the way anyone below them does. The entire relationship with it has fundamentally changed. The billionaire. There are roughly 3,000 billionaires in the world. $1 billion is a number most people cannot genuinely visualize. If you spent $10,000 every single day, it would take over 270 years to spend $1 billion. At this level, wealth functions less like personal finance and more like a small economy. Billionaires employ teams of people whose entire job is managing, growing, and deploying capital. They influence markets, governments, and industries simply by making decisions about where their money goes. The distance between a billionaire and everyone below them is not just financial, it is structural. They operate inside different systems, under different rules, with different consequences for the same actions. The ultra-wealthy. Above $10 billion, conventional frameworks for understanding personal wealth stop making sense. The fortunes of the world's wealthiest individuals, people like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos at their peaks, are so large that they cannot be spent in any conventional way. The money exists primarily as ownership stakes in companies, meaning the number fluctuates by billions in a single trading day. At this level, wealth is no longer a personal resource, it is a force, one that shapes economies, funds space programs, buys media companies, and bends political systems. Whether that kind of concentrated private power is healthy for society is one of the defining questions of the current era, and nobody has answered it yet.